like what I usually do here on my channel, but the hell with it. I'm doing it mostly because A, I'm bored and don't have anything better to do, and B, um, I need to get back into the daily videos again because ever since the Wi-Fi issues, I kind of fell out of habit with it, and now I have to get past that initial nervousness in front of the camera again, so give myself a reason to film. So anyway, um, I'm not sure how I fell down this YouTube rabbit hole earlier, but somehow I went from watching the Phantom Toll Booth to noticing on the sidebar of YouTube one of the Garfield TV specials from the 80s that I grew up with, which led me to being like, hey, it's October, I should find the Halloween one, which only seems to surface on YouTube like every few years, and then it gets yanked again, and then somebody puts it up again a couple of years later, and then it gets yanked again, and this seems to be an ongoing thing, and I really should just download it while it's up, so I just have it. I have it on VHS somewhere, but who really bothers with VHS tapes anymore? I still have my VCR, but such a hassle to hook it up every time you want to watch something. But anyway, so this got me wondering, how many Garfield specials were there that I might have not even ever seen? So I looked it up, and there's a good number of them altogether that I was unaware of existing, or if I did see them, I was too little to remember them, but and there's obviously quite a few that I do remember, although to what capacity, I'm not quite sure. Like that one where they go camping, I remember little bits and pieces of it, but I need to watch it again. But, there's quite a few that I have never seen before today, and it looks like the grand majority of them I can track down, so I'm gonna watch them and talk about them, because why not? So, anyway, this is not including the 3D movies that they did in the 2000s, because those do not even feel like Garfield to me anymore. Those are like their own little weird offshoot breed of their own thing, as far as I'm concerned. This is just like the TV specials that were made on Garfield. So, the very first one is from 1982, and it's called Here Comes Garfield. I had never ever seen this one before today. I mean, it came out 3 years before I was born, and either my parents didn't tape this one, or if they did, they taped over it, because we very much did not have this one while I was growing up, and watching it today, I think I see why. So, it's kind of unique in that I think they were trying to figure out how to take this comic strip into the animated realm, into cartoonness, and I mean, I loved the animated series when I was growing up. That was like one of my favorite cartoons of all time, and I thought I'd seen all the Garfield stuff there was to see, and apparently not. But this was like the very, very first one, and it's not very polished. Even the style from beginning to end shifts a little, like, it looks rougher towards the beginning, and towards the end it starts looking more like the Garfield I grew up with on the TV series, but, yeah, like, even during the opening credits, there's a lot more black in the black to orange ratio on Garfield's fur than there normally is. So that's different, and John Arbuckle's house is entirely different. Like, generally when we see his house, be it on the show or on the other specials, it's generally in, like, blues and yellows, I've noticed for the most part. This house is mostly in browns, and is not even laid out the same way, so I'm like, wait, did John move at some point? Did he move up in the world? Like, what is this? So there's that. Another thing I noticed right off the bat is that Garfield acts much more like a stereotypical cat and does cat things, just like Odie does a lot more stereotypical dog things, and they even interact with each other in a lot more stereotypical cat and dog ways towards one another, which I suppose for the first one of these makes sense, and I guess that would be really limiting if they tried to keep it exactly to that. They became a bit, well, at least Garfield anyway, became a bit more human as time went on, I think, especially with the TV series, and if they hadn't done that, there's only so much you can do with a cat and a dog, but yeah, so I found that very interesting, though, seeing them acting so cat and doggish, even though I know that they are a cat and a dog, but, Garfield is much more believable as an orange and black tabby in this than he is in probably any other Garfield incarnation I've ever seen, so that's kind of cool. I also noticed John Arbuckle's voice is different from the one I grew up with, so I'm like, whoa, that almost feels wrong. It's similar, but it's not the same one. But yeah, so basically, the premise of this one, I think it's almost like they knew there was going to be either more than one special or there was going to be a show or something. They knew there would be more, and this is just laying the groundwork for maybe anybody who didn't grow up with the comic strip series, and here's a way to get to know this cat. So it's a very generic kind of adventure of Odie and Garfield doing really stupid dog and cat stuff. And basically, they fight like cats and dogs, and they go outside, and they see this little, like, Yorkshire Terrier from across the street, and decide, for whatever reason, let's terrorize it, because why the fuck not, right? And to be fair, the way that this little Yorkie was animated, I actually thought it was normal at first. I didn't even realize it was a dog until it started barking and growling. I was like, oh shit, that's a dog! But yeah, I thought it was just like normal with a really bad haircut, or maybe like in older incarnations of Garfield, maybe normal was a Persian or something, and they decided to change that as time went on. But no, this was very much a little Yorkie that belonged to an elderly couple, and in Odie and Garfield's terrorizing this dog, it runs back to its elderly owner, who, oh my god, this definitely has a lot to do with why this does not get aired anymore. I don't know if it ever got aired more than the initial time it aired originally. I honestly don't know that much of the history of Garfield, but yeah, basically, he wanted to exact his revenge on Garfield and Odie by beating the crap out of him with a stick. PETA would have a freaking field day, okay? And long story short, he calls the dog catcher. And Garfield gets away, but Odie gets caught. Which Garfield thinks he's cool with initially, because he's Garfield, and he's kind of an asshole, honestly. But he starts to miss him after a while, so he decides he should go try and rescue him, and in the process of trying to rescue him, gets his own ass thrown in the pound with him, and while he's talking to the other cats and dogs in that holding cell, he finds out that apparently, if Odie's owner doesn't come by dawn, they're going to put him to sleep. Like, okay, I don't know how most pounds work, but I'm pretty sure you get more than, like, 12 hours to pick up your animal, am I right? Like, what the hell kind of overcrowded pound is this if that's how short a time span these poor little animals get? I don't even know. I don't know. I think you're not supposed to think of that part, and it's supposed to be all danger, ooh, drama for little kids who don't know better. I don't know. But yeah, so there are certain things in this that seemed very much not little kiddish, like, oh yeah, the old man trying to beat the crap out of Odie and Garfield with a stick, or this cat that's in that holding cell that first thing out of his mouth is, hey, you got a cigarette? It's like, wait, what? Whoa, that would never fly in today's world with cartoons. They would never get away with that. That kind of just shocked me that the past 30 years have shifted so much culture-wise to where, yeah, that would not be allowed today. But, obviously, they end up breaking out of the pound and going home and happy ending, la 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 la. Odie and Garfield are friends now. It's all very generic. There's nothing that particularly special about this particular one. The one thing that really gets me, though, is just that it has such a melancholy feel throughout a good amount of it. Which, to me, does not feel like a true Garfield thing. I'm like, wait, what's wrong with it? But I guess that was them trying to find their footing with this one still. And it just makes me laugh that these specials started in the 80s, yet the music in them always totally sounds like it's from the 70s, which I love. Don't get me wrong, I think it's awesome, and maybe it's why I love 70s music so much, but it's like, wait, this music does not match the era this comes from. This is like a decade older than this is. Why is that? I don't know. And it seems to hold true for either all of them or all the ones I've seen thus far. So there's that. But yeah, I was just like, this is a little bit weird for a Garfield special, but alright. I don't know if they put out more that year. I'm gonna have to look at that list again and see what the next year listed for the next special is, but yeah. So, this particular one, I would say if you're a diehard Garfield fan, go ahead and watch it. I'm putting the link down in the info bar, but otherwise, it's very skippable. You are not missing anything by not watching it. There are much better ones that exist, but I'm like, you know, if somebody started out and tried to watch this and knew nothing else of Garfield, and then decided that Garfield fucking sucks and they hate Garfield, I could absolutely see why some people say they hate Garfield. Like, if this is their only thing they're basing it off of, alright, I guess I understand it. Because I've met a ridiculous amount of people who claim they just cannot stand Garfield. I'm like, how? Why? I fucking love Garfield. Most people I know love Garfield. How can you not love Garfield? So, but I guess if they were basing it off this special, alright, I could see it coming from this, because in this, yeah, he's a little arrogant shithead through the whole thing, without a whole lot of redeeming qualities going on in this one yet. That comes later, but, yeah, so those are basically my thoughts on the very first one. I'm gonna go watch the next one and then report back. So stick around. I'll see how many of them I can barrel through tonight, and whatever I don't get through tonight, I'll probably do in the upcoming days. So, yeah, stick around. So anyway, if you like this video, click the like button. If you're not already and you'd like to be, click subscribe. Leave comments down below. And until next time.